Well, rather unsurprisingly, Big Tommy Tuchel was very impressive in his first squad camp England presser when he spoke about his selected squad, the players, his reasonings for that. Look, I'm a Chelsea fan. I know Thomas Tuchel is a very impressive speaker, emotionally intelligent, erudite, despite being a German, which of course is forever being brought up. In fact, in this press conference, he was asked to a German journalist asked him if he could answer a question in both English and German, and she'd waiver her second question for that time. He said no, out of respect for the what we're doing here, or whatever. I'm obviously paraphrasing. He's much more erudite than I. And he was even referenced the fact about how the media have been slagging him off for going back to Germany to see his kids, and he was like, look, yeah, I'm always here, always watching games, always at St. George's Park. I went to visit my kids a couple of times. I don't know why this is a story. He sort of laughed it off. I'm sorry, Tuchel. Just wait until they see if you sing the national anthem or not. It's the English media can be nasty work, let me tell you. But yes, the squad's been announced. I want to react to it today. And some of the stuff he said, if I can remember it in the presser. So welcome back, friends, viewers, hopefully subscribers to Football Yannick, the football YouTube channel hosted by me. If you do want to support your boy, simply subscribe to this channel, Football Yannick, where I'm uploading every ruddy day, mate. I am, believe it. I think we're at 15,000 plus subbies, which is a lovely thing. So let's see where we can get to. Lovely stuff. All right, so in terms of the England squad, here it is. Bang! On front of your very eyes. A few things here that jump out to people. Firstly, the goalkeepers don't. Henderson, Pickford, Ramsdale and Trafford. Fine. No one's really going to have an issue with that. Pickford will remain number one. Now, defenders. Dan Burn, Levi Colwill, Mark Gay, Reece James, Ezri Konsa, Miles Lewis-Skelly, Tino Livramento, Kwanzaa, what's his first name? The guy from Liverpool, and Kyle Walker still being picked. Bellingham, Eze, Henderson, Jones, Palmer, Rice, Rodgers, Bowen, Foden, Gordon, Kane, Rashford, Solanke. We're gonna pick the bones out of this, mate. I'm gonna say, firstly, also Rodgers and Cole Palmer. Obviously, Cole Palmer scored in a final for England, and he's dropped the cold celebration. It is, of course, initially Morgan Rodgers, who said, yeah, Cole can have it, but they both still do it, which is nice. Bearing in mind, they're like besties. They're like, he didn't steal it off him. He said, oh, if I score, I'm going to do it for Chelsea, and it just went off from there. So, yeah, it'll be nice. In a way, it would be a nice story if you see one link up the other and they both celebrate next to each other doing the cold celebration. That would be nice. As an England fan and a Chelsea fan, that's what I'd like to see. Look, let's talk about firstly, the controversial ones. Let's say Burn, Henderson, those two probably, maybe Walker. Look, clearly he's going for some sort of seniority here, Thomas Tuchel. He wants a mix of youth and experience, which me as a Chelsea fan, I see my club severely lacking. But we're not here to talk about Chelsea. Jordan Henderson, I think personally, he did say, look, he's a leader, he's a serial winner, yada. I wonder, and I'm speculating here, this is not from what the England manager said, I wonder if he's brought in Jordan Henderson as this experienced guy who essentially knows the boys, who he can trust as an adult to be sort of that bridge between for maybe the first camp or two. I would genuinely be very surprised to see Jordan Henderson being brought to the World Cup. But I wonder, if this is just a sort of, let's get a bit of a hierarchy here, a leadership group for the first camp while we all learn about each other. We can use these, man. Dan Burn is an interesting one. Lewis Skelly, of course, we'll talk about him in just a moment. Dan Burn is an interesting one because lots of football fans are like, why is he calling up Dan Burn? But Tuchel was like, I couldn't believe he's not been picked up before. You made a joke about that he's so tall, but apparently he's still easy to overlook. Yeah, I mean, Dan Burns, he's been playing at a high level, Champions League in recent seasons, upper echelons of the Premier League. He's a big, strong boy. And what really an interesting thing that Tuchel said in this press conference is he doesn't want to move away from English values. He doesn't want to try and pretend to be another team, like I suppose you could say transitional team like German, or high possession strangulation, or tiki-taka Spain, or whatever. He says, yeah, let's be physical, let's be direct, let's be English. You know, God save our gracious King. He didn't sing that. Will he ever sing that? Find out in our first game. But he's like, yeah, look, we don't need to like reinvent who we are, what we are. Like we're good who we are. Let's just make it better and a few tweaks. The likes of Dan Burn, and similarly that Kyle Walker's been brought in. He's playing for Milan now. Again, if I'd be very surprised if 35, however old he is, Kyle Walker makes it to the World Cup. But we'll see what happens. I ain't got a problem with Dan Burn. Really interesting, Miles Lewis Skelly. He also spoke, Tino Livramento, I don't think his pass necessarily crossed with him at Chelsea. Lewis Hall did. Lewis Hall played a load for Thomas Tuchel, and he name-checked him and said, look, because he's injured, we brought in the likes of, Miles Lewis Skelly. So it doesn't surprise me at all that he's thinking of Lewis Hall. Lewis Hall's been amazing for Newcastle lately as well. Toon fans will tell you that. So he will possibly be the starting choice left back, Lewis Hall, moving forwards. But he brings in Miles Lewis Skelly, the teenager, and actually another demonstration of how impressive Tuchel is as a speaker. He spoke about meetings regarding Lewis Skelly, not with him, but with the coaching staff, the management team. And they said it had a parental vibe between the coaches. Like, is it our responsibility to not continue fast forwarding this kid's career too fast? Of course, he's been, because of injuries at Arsenal, he's played loads. Should he go and play for the under-21s for a bit? I mean, I'm not even sure if he's played for the under-21s because he's 18, he's 17 coming through. That should he go and do a camp there, keep his feet on the ground? Is it the right thing, the responsible thing of us as a management team to do that? But because of the injuries to the aforementioned Lewis Hall, etc., they're like, nah, chuck him in. Right, Reece James. Let's talk about him then. Look, everyone else there, Cole, lots of Chelsea academy there. You had Hall, that is Hall, Colwill, Gurhey, James, Livramento in the back line. Lots and lots. Look, everyone else is Colwill and Gurhey, very, very good players. Konza, Livramento, great options. No controversy there. No controversy in Reece James in the fact how Thomas Tuchel adores Reece James. They won the Champions League together. He had Reece James Reece James on form under Tuchel was like next level, the best right wing back in the world. He not just because of his attacking power. 1 second, the door. It wasn't the door. It was my cat pouring the cat flap because she wants me to open the door for her, even though she can use the cat flap. Sorry, just changing the blind there for lighting. Reece James. Not just because he's an amazing attacker, but because he can play in his back three for Tuchel. He's locked down, Rafa Leao, Vinicius Jr., all these players who then he develops like a bromance with because they respect his defensive game. Yeah, an incredible player. The only interesting thing is Reece James is not only been playing as a midfielder for Chelsea, but the Chelsea manager, Enzo Maresca, says, I've always seen him as a midfielder. So he is essentially a midfielder for Chelsea now, and he's been listed, not surprisingly, as a defender for Thomas Tuchel. Now the cat's sitting in front of the light, so all this is going dark. Cats, pets. And of course, as put my Chelsea hat on here, we're trying to manage him very, very carefully after returning from injury. Reece James. I'm just going to sip this and pause the recording. Yeah. So we need to continue to manage Reece James accordingly and make sure, because I'll be gutted. And, I love Thomas Tuchel, like most Chelsea fans, but if he breaks my Reece James, go. Midfielders, let's talk about unsurprising ones, like, Declan Rice, Jude Bellingham, Cole Palmer. They're your sort of bankers. Eze getting a look in again, which is great. Angel Gomez not been called up, which I think is quite interesting. But, when you've got Thomas Tuchel talking about big warriors, midfielders like, strength and power than little Angel Gomez. You know, it was more the Lee Carsley tiki-taka fleeting era. Curtis Jones, yeah, I quite like it. Curtis Jones played quite well for Liverpool. He also thinks Eden Hazard is a better footballer than Mohamed Salah, so he's got my props. And of course, Jordan Henderson is the like controversial one. You know, he went off to Saudi after doing all the pro LGBTQ plus work, and he sort of turned his back on all them to go and play in Saudi. Didn't like it, wanted to come back, went to Ajax. Wanted to leave Ajax to go to Monaco. Got on an argument with, really needlessly, like the press out in Netherlands. Very peculiar and situation. But there he is in the midfield. Yeah, and I'm kind of fine with the midfielders there. I mean, very interesting to see, because there's still a chance Reece James might be deployed in midfield, and therefore another option there. Let's talk about attackers then. Kane is not only, of course, being picked, who's actually in amazing form at the moment, Kane, for Bayern Munich. And we know Tuchel loves Kane. He fought very hard to sign Kane for Bayern Munich. Gordon is... I keep forgetting he's not injured. He's just banned for the final. He's obviously in great form. Solanke was always going to be probably the backup to Kane. Rashford... oh, my fucking cat. Damn it, I swore. Ah, God! My bad. I won't even go back and bleep it. I apologise for those of you who don't want to hear swearing. Of course, Bowen, sort of been on the fringes. There are players, perhaps, that might feel a little bit disappointed. Obviously, Rashford's a really, really nice story. Obviously doing well at England again. He spoke glowingly of Marcus Rashford, Thomas Tuchel, about his time at how he's watching him at Aston Villa and how well he's performing. It's kind of nice. And yeah, he has been really, really good. Not always starting Rashford for Villa, but it is a nice story that he's back. I am personally a little bit shocked. But I mean, the biggest shock for me, knowing Thomas Tuchel, I know it's not Ben Chilwell. I wonder if Ben Chilwell was still playing every game, he would be picked, because he's just got no left wing backs. And again, we are assuming he's going to play a back three. Is Conor Gallagher? Because Tuchel loved Conor Gallagher. He saw him as like a double six player, didn't he? He wanted to play him, and yeah, he was a big fan. He was a big fan of Conor Gallagher at Chelsea, and it just seems a bit weird, especially because Conor's playing well, really like a physical style at Atletico Madrid for Diego Simeone. I thought Tuchel would value that. Also, he just dunked on Real Madrid in the Madrid derby in the Champions League, last round of 16. I thought that was, I don't know, a bit sad really, because I like Conor, and he'll feel disappointed for not being called up by his former coach for this England camp. Obviously, it's not definitive of what we'll see the final form for the World Cup, but it's certainly very, very interesting. So let me know what you guys think. Please do comment down below. Let's start the conversation. As always, I'll thank you for supporting my content here on Football Yannick. You can do so simply by liking and subscribing. It is my birthday on Sunday, so that'll be a nice birthday present from you guys. I'm turning 36 as well. So, maybe my coil of YouTuber time is burning up. Right, I will be back though every single day, so see you soon, hopefully. Peace.